for joining. And this session was planned only yesterday evening, so but it's an interesting one. The way it happened is I was at the Purple Fest and I knew that he was there. I didn't know why he was there. I thought maybe he works for a big company, they must be having some travel budget. They must be spending that or something like that. I first thought so, but then when I went there, my mind totally changed on what he's up to and what he's doing. So a quick intro about who he is, and he will introduce himself again. He's Vaibhav. He's a junior of mine from college, and he now works for Microsoft in the accessibility group. And for those of you who don't know what Purple Fest is, there is a festival happening right next door to us where they are celebrating those with disabilities and those who are helping those people with disabilities. And a lot of people have come there. There's a lot of energy, a lot of passionate people who visit if possible. And one of the delegates there is Vaibhav from Microsoft. And Vaibhav has done some very interesting work from the accessibility point of view, from human-computer interaction point of view, as a part of the Microsoft team. But he has only like 20 minutes to give us, and what I've told him is there is no he need not focus on the actual work he has done, because that is available online. There is no shortage of information about accessibility work, how to do accessibility. That's not what we need in the next 20 minutes. What we want in the next 20 minutes is for him to inspire us from his story. So he has a story which I'm sure we will all find inspiring. Let's listen it from him, and then he may spend a few minutes talking about his work. And if anyone is interested in the actual work itself, let's get in touch with him separately. Okay? So yes, over to you.
Thanks a lot. Lots of big words. And so yeah, thank you, Saurabh, for bringing me here literally, and thank you for driving till there and everything. So as he mentioned, it was just planned yesterday. I texted him day before yesterday that I'm coming to Goa and would you like to meet, and we met yesterday and he was like, oh, you're doing cool work, just come and talk. I did not mention inspire and all. Now he's saying I'll have to inspire as well. I don't know. But yeah, I think by the inherent nature of accessibility, it is assumed that so when somebody says I'm working for accessibility, people assume that I'm working for someone who is differently able, someone who is not able to do certain things, or in very layman terms, people believe somebody who is not normal or not able enough, and that's why we do accessibility. But a simple thing that I learned in college, the same college that we went to, it was during COVID, and my grandfather and grandmother and even my parents did not know how to use smartphones as we do, but they had to take classes now. They're both both teachers, so they had to take classes now, and they're like, what is Google Meet? We don't know that. That's how we usually say user becomes that Parle-G girl. What to do? And literally this was their expression, like what to do now. And मैंने बोला मैं कुछ करता हूँ, help करता हूँ. So I started making card games. कि ये आइकन कौन सा है, वीडियो कॉल, ये आइकन कौन सा है, ये वाला, ताकि उनको चीजें याद हो जाए. लेटर ऑल्सो दे आल्सो सिंप्लीफाइड इट, बट मैं भी रियलाइज किया कि कार्ड गेम से चाहे उनको याद हो जाएगा, इट्स नॉट अबाउट लेटिंग देम लर्न द आइकन्स, इट शुड बी समथिंग बेटर. धीरे धीरे उस प्रोसेस में मैंने स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग टू माय फ्रेंड्स एंड ऑल. आई रियलाइज टू अ ग्रैंडफादर और अ ग्रैंडमदर दिस इज जस्ट अ ब्लॉक, like literally a rectangular block जो touch हो गया, it does not even have buttons. So it was not them who were not able to learn with this one. This was not made for them. And when I give them a diary, which they have, a small diary जिसमें लिखा होता है my young elder son lives here, my younger son lives there, this is the contact number. They are so fluent with it. Then I realized it's about the medium. Medium is not being made accessible for them. the tech is advancing in a direction that is making it inaccessible for them. And they are not incompetent beings. They are people who have worked for 60, 70 years, they have the money, they have done a lot for the society, and yet we say no, let's make it accessible for them. So when somebody says I am making things accessible for them, sometimes, not always, they tend to place themselves above, like I am here and I am doing it something for them, which is a misconception. Because accessibility can be anything. And one of my friends, his name is Bryce, he says accessibility is everything. For someone who cannot code in MS-DOS or who cannot code in Java language, for them a basic operating system, Windows or MacBook operating system is an accessibility tool, technically, so that you can use computers simply. So that is how we perceive accessibility. Coming back to me, my name is Vaibhav, and I am from NIT, same department as Saurabh, New Media Design, and I was not into accessibility at all. अभी पता नहीं इतना सब बातें कहाँ से आ रही हैं. I think over time I learned it. I was an engineer who used to do theatre. I was just interested in people. मुझे सच बताऊँ तो I was more interested in making people smile, because in theatre you do a lot of jokes and all, and I used to really enjoy it. So when I did engineering plus theatre, sort of mixed into making technology humorous. So a lot of my initial project was just funny pillow bots, like a pillow who is a robot who is doing things, or some very different kind of speculative fiction story which are just humorous. And humorous product design was something that I was taking forward with. And it has an inherent sense of joy. But जब ये कोविड में ये grandparents वाली बात हुई, तो and I talked to my faculty and they're like, why don't you do a solving project on it? So this became my semester project. That's when I realized that there are people for whom tech is very ignorant. Like even right now, if you go home and tell your parents to drag and drop an app from this page to that page on their phone, look at how they do it. Drag and drop doesn't even have a hint. You can drag and drop. We just assume, drag and drop. There's a lot of assumptions in technology, and that is what was very icky to me. And when I said humor, which has joy, I felt if I could teach them or enable them to do this, then it will be fun. But then you also question, do they even need to do it? The basic idea is, should go from here to there. Why? Do they don't need it? Do they not need it immediately? And so you start to question very basic things, and then you say this interaction is not even needed. They just want to delete it. Can we make an easier interaction which just deletes it? Things like that. But anyway, right now I work with Microsoft, and in Microsoft I was working on Copilot. Initially Outlook, then Copilot, a lot of AI stuff. But then the story sort of took a different turn into accessibility. I never thought I will come into accessibility formally, but then I think now I can show this. So there was my thesis project, Saurabh used to call it DIP. We call it diploma project. We call it GP. So this is my NID project, which was called Insight, and this project was all about fashion and styling for blind people. And मैं कुछ खास इंटरेस्ट नहीं है ब्लाइंड लोगों में या फिर people who have any sort of physical impairments or even somatic, cognitive, any sort of impairment. कभी सोचा नहीं था. How it started was with this little girl, and photo of her. Her name's Namira. So what happened was, I was working on Copilot. I was in Hyderabad, and one of my friends was getting married. तो वहाँ पे मैं शादी के हल्दी फंक्शन में गया, and everybody is just chilling. There was this girl who was crying badly and almost tantrumish, like a rich Hyderabad posh child is just pulling her mother aside and like, I want to wear yellow, मुझे yellow क्यों नहीं पहनाया, हल्दी पे सब yellow पहनते, yellow पहना, and crying and irritating, as in an Indigo flight. I was like, irritating. I was just ignorant as a case of posh people, entitled kids, and like that. And तो मैंने बोला ठीक है, इग्नोर करते हैं, चलते हैं आगे. बाद में क्या हुआ, that friend came to me and he told me that यार उसको बहुत ज़िद है, take them to Fab India or something, just get them something yellow. and you know how to drive and you know Fab India कहाँ पे है, तो लेके जा जल्दी से। तो लाइक कि ठीक है, अब है तो जाना पड़ेगा, दोस्त के रिश्तेदार है, तो चला गया। तो वहाँ पे also this girl is just crying and again क्यों नहीं पहना है, you're bad ऐसे कर रही है। Then my mother spoke to me and she was like कि sorry उसको दिखता नहीं है, वो बचपन से उसको प्रॉब्लम है, she can't see। ठीक है, बहुत बाद में I think she had RP, retinitis pigmentosa, it's a condition I read about later। बट जब उन्होंने ऐसे बोला ना, तो मेरा दिमाग पहले तो बहुत गिल्ट में गया। इट्स वेरी इनहेरेंट कि अरे मैंने जज कर लिया बिना जाने, am I even a designer, मैं तो ऐसे हो गया था कि अरे we are not supposed to judge, why am I judging, फुल ऐसे डीप गिल्ट में गया मैं। फिर मुझे रियलाइज हुआ ये तो ब्लाइंड है, इसको पीला कैसे पता? ठीक है चलो पीला पता है, इसको ये कैसे पता हल्दी में सब पीला पहनते हैं और इसको पीला पहनना क्यों है? ये सब क्वेश्चन बाद में आने लगे। मैंने उस टाइम उनसे पूछा नहीं, बट नेक्स्ट दिन फिर से इवेंट हुआ, थोड़ा जॉयस मूड था, देन आई आस्क्ड हर कि यार आपको क्या पीला क्यों पहनना है? तो वो बोली कि मम्मी ने बोला था, कजन ने बोला था फोटो में अच्छा दिखता है। तो शी वाज नॉट अवेयर ऑफ what color she is wearing or what color it is, but she was aware of the perception of the color, कि लोगों को ऐसा लगेगा, मैं ऐसी दिखूंगी। तो वहां से मेरा इंट्रीग चालू हुआ और उसके बाद मुझे लगा कि is this intrigue even real? तो I started talking to a lot of people in Hyderabad who are blind. Some of them also work in Microsoft. So this is Nidhi, this is Aishwarya. All of them are in Purple Fest by the way right now. So she works with me now in Microsoft. Aishwarya is a separate startup person. तो मैं इन दोनों के पास गया बस ये जानने कि मैं हवाई ख्याली पुलाव तो नहीं है ना ये, कि सच है ना ये, this is real. And then they were like, yeah, we feel good in some clothes, we feel bad in some clothes, not by comfort, but we know that this is perceived well. If 10 people tell me this shirt looks good on you, I'll wear that in an interview. I don't even know what color this is, but people have told me. So it's basic mental model of learning. That's how basic rewards and everything work. So this is how my project started and my intrigue became real. Then this thesis went into a research mode. I researched with a lot of people, learned more about it. One of the persons Saurabh also met yesterday. So this person just gave a TED talk and I was asking him why is he not wearing an indigo shirt. जो उसने बोला था कि ये शर्ट तो मैं हर इंपॉर्टेंट दिन पे पहनता हूँ और उनको नहीं पता इंडिगो क्या कलर है। वो बचपन से ब्लाइंड है, देयर कंजेनिटल ब्लाइंड, टू टाइप्स ऑफ ब्लाइंड आते हैं। कंजेनिटल जो बचपन से, एक्वायर्ड जिन्होंने बाद में एक्वायर किया। वो कंजेनिटल ब्लाइंड है, उसको कलर का मेंटल मॉडल भी नहीं है और उसको पता है मेरी इंडिगो शर्ट मैं इंपॉर्टेंट दिन पे पहनता हूँ। So they have their own ways of doing it. So it finally came to a solution of our AI product, which is held like a mirror. ऐसे आप मिरर की तरह अपने क्लोजेट पे लगाते हो. It sees you. I think I'll have something. बहुत सारा या ऐसे लगा के उसके सामने खड़े हो जाते हो and then you just talk to it and it remembers your clothes. It remembers आपने कब पहना था. If अगर उसको पता नहीं है तो it also asks कि कैसा फील हो रहा है. Is it warm? Is it cold? ताकि over time उसको याद रहे. तो over time it gains data from you and it's a personal secure bot only in your phone. Local model does not go to cloud or anything. But over time it learns and understands and over time ये आपका वो बन जाता है, assistant बन जाता है सिर्फ clothing के लिए. 3-4 people are actually using it in Hyderabad. That's Raghavendra, that's Meenal, that's Asmita. All of them are my friends. They are completely blind. She is a fashion influencer. She was just helping me test it, if it is right or not. So meeting to the right people was also a very important bit. So which happened like this. I was added to different groups. We tried different exercises with that. These are tactile emojis, by the way. These are tactile paintings. So there's a whole ecosystem out there for accessibility. There are parties, like literal, very party-like parties. The only thing that is different in blind parties, people don't understand the idea of space. They're talking to like this. I say tapas. They're just talking to each other. But anyway. Coming back to what I am doing right now. जब ये हुआ ना तो I became really interested in these things and fortunately I found a place in Microsoft which was working on accessibility and I asked them can I join them. They're like why do you want to join? Because you're working on AI, it's cutting edge and everything and I'm like I don't know, I just feel there's a pull and there's a formal way to just test it कि क्या मुझे पसंद आएगा over time. Why should I not do it? they were kind enough to give me the spot by looking at this work and interest. And it's been around 1.5 years that I've been working on that. And if you ever used a Windows PC has in settings there's a section called accessibility, which has multiple tools for vision, hearing, mobility. People who cannot use their upper limbs and can't use mice and all, that is mobility. And cognitive as well, people who lose attention, people who can't understand certain types of text, dyslexia possibly. And these are the 4 sections that we look at. अभी हम बहुत दिल लगा के रिसर्च कर रहे हैं 2 स्पेसेस पे. One is vision, which is narrator. तो ब्लाइंड लोग कैसे कंज्यूम करते हैं कंटेंट को. अगर कोई विंडोज पीसी है तो मैं आपको दिखा भी सकता हूँ. और द सेकंड वन इज वॉइस एक्सेस, व्हिच इज अपर लिम्ब मोबिलिटी. अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल वी मीट जिनको न्यूरल डिजेनरेशन होता है, so they can't use mice and all, so they use something called as voice access. They just say, click this, do this, now do this, now do this, and certain options are not really easy to see because सब icons के name तो आपको पता नहीं होंगे. तो उसके लिए we have to be very innovative. We say show numbers, so every clickable element becomes numbered. Okay, and sometimes उससे भी मुश्किल करना पड़ता है. अगर there are people who don't use their upper limbs but use Premiere Pro and After Effects, and उसमें तो timeline पे कितना सब करना पड़ता है. So they use something called as grid. So we say show grid. तो ऐसे matrix बन जाता है.
Is it available on all websites?
Yeah, it's everywhere. So and also it's free. We don't ask for anything. And
press the mic for maybe first time.
Yeah. Open edge. It's working. So now, so show numbers. Show numbers. Click 12. Show grid. 1 9. Click 9. You get the idea? So for a person, अभी आपको बहुत slow लग रहा होगा, but for a person who is pro with it, they just say 4 5 3 click 9. They just so sometimes it will become faster than able people. So the basic intention of interaction designing for this is every person with any sort of diverse ability should be able to work at parity. मतलब point ये कि अब ये तो है नहीं कि उनके लिए नई कंपनी ओपन कर देंगे. And काफी लोग जो सेम लैपटॉप यूज करते हैं वो उन्हीं को सेम लैपटॉप यूज करना सिखाना पड़ेगा. That is a very big problem that we are having. Honestly, if it were to me and if I had the funding, I would make a new kind of laptop for them, right? मतलब अगर एक ब्लाइंड इंसान को स्क्रीन वाला लैपटॉप देना ही क्यों है? उनको स्क्रीन तो यूज करनी नहीं, और उनको सब इमेजिनेशन में ही चलता है, उनको समझ आ जाता है. But it is the convention, it is more manufactured, it's cheaper to get, and most of the people collaborate with them because they have the same PCs. That's why we are sort of making these. It's almost like gamified controls, right? It's a new type of controlling paradigm that we are working on. And this is just one. This is voice access. If you go into accessibility, there's something called as turn off voice access. Something called as live captions as well. Live captions. हम और भी बातें कर सकते हैं ना.
Actually, can I take the liberty to interrupt you?
Yes,
because
please.
I know you have another thing happening at you. So
Yeah.
You need to. And like I said, all these things are available on the internet. What's not available is him telling his backstory and kind of we listening to that and maybe beginning our backstory in some other thing, right? So that is the value of this session and not really looking at the actual text to speech and all that.
Yeah. MS Word, MS Excel, MS PowerPoint, Edge, they will have this button fixed. It closes this. But for the apps, we don't have control of Chrome and anything. We can't do anything. That's not Microsoft. We can't control them as much, though they do make it compliant, but not all of them do. So that's why show numbers and they can see if this is different. Yeah.
Definitely, Yeah, I had a similar question actually कि हर apps का अगर number system grid अलग होगा then how do they actually remember?
So most of the productivity apps, Teams,
Yeah.
Excel, PowerPoint, Word, जो भी हम MS Office के साथ में देते हैं, उसका सेम और सिमिलर है. उतना हमारे पास कंट्रोल है, बट अब इन वेरी ट्रू सेंस वी कांट कंट्रोल एवरीथिंग.
And is there a guideline मतलब अगर हम डिजाइन कर रहे हैं कभी भी तो एक गाइडलाइन है जो हम लोग फॉलो करते हैं, बेसिक गाइडलाइन?
I think WCAG is something that we also follow. But they are on the verge of updating, so keep a check. वो अपडेट करने वाले हैं जल्दी. अगर आप उतना भी कर रहे हो, that's very good. I'm not saying like sky is the limit honestly, but the point is you have to look into कि तो आपका बिजनेस कितना वहाँ से आ रहा है. जैसे मैं कल ही बता रहा था, Instagram, Swiggy, zero accessibility. Very for blind people that's very bad. I don't know. मतलब they possibly they know users ज़्यादा आने नहीं वाला, but Swiggy I was assuming would be there because my friends are like can you order for me. अभी गोवा माइल्स पे कैब बुक कर रहे थे, बोले यार तू बुक कर दे, बिल्कुल एक्सेसिबल नहीं है, समझ नहीं आ रहा कुछ भी. तो certain things तो हमको क्या लगता है ना कि हम नहीं करेंगे ना तो क्या होगा, but when you see one person being stranded on the street क्योंकि वो कैब बुक नहीं कर पा रहा है, एक इंसान 100 में से एक इंसान को प्रॉब्लम आएगी, बट वो इतनी क्रिटिकल हो सकती है बिकॉज इट इज ब्लॉक्ड फॉर देम. यू आर लिटरली सेइंग नो, तेरे लिए फीचर है ही नहीं, जा तू. और वो एक ब्लाइंड इंसान सड़क पे खड़ा कैब बुक नहीं कर पा रहा. बाकी इंसानों को क्या यूजेबिलिटी में आएगा कि अरे मेरे को ग्रेडियंट दिखा नहीं, थोड़ा इधर से करना पड़ गया, या अरे कार्ड बहुत छोटा है मुझे बहुत देखना पड़ा, पर ब्लॉक नहीं हुए ना. ब्लाइंड इंसान ब्लॉक हो जाता है, या फिर कोई भी इंसान उसको यूज कर, वो ब्लॉकिंग इज बैड. सॉरी थर्ड टाइम ज्यादा लिया.